Well, it was on the Sunday when we showed the Stones film at our church. Amy came up to me. I hadn't met her properly at that stage, and said, would I like to work with her on a dance film?
I wanted to make a dance film because I wanted to do site-specific piece, so not in a studio or a theatre, but actually in a location.
The first thing we did was to meet up and just have a big brainstorm about all the different things that we could do. The idea that we came up with was to go with the crucifixion of Jesus. So we looked at the 4 Gospels and the 4 accounts of the crucifixion of Jesus in those 4 accounts, and the passage that really stood out for us in terms of making a good dance film was in Luke 23, where it talks about Jesus being on the cross, and to his left and his right are 2 criminals. There you go. There's your 3 characters right there. And the idea is that they both have a second chance. They have a second chance to accept Jesus, and one of them chooses to, and one of them chooses not to.
The choreography starts in the woods with these 3 trees, which to us became quite significant as representing the cross. And this idea of the dancers, you see them getting drawn back time and time again. It's almost like a magnet. You see one of the criminals almost accusing Jesus, quite specifically almost target Jesus by travelling across and then actually hitting and moving and pushing away as almost accusing him. And the other criminal, as they're running or going further deeper into the forest, you see a lot more support by maybe catching or lifting or helping. So it's quite subtle, but there is a relationship there of the other criminal standing up before Jesus.
As I went through the creative process of making a dance film, it changed along the way, you know, and it actually got better and better and better as I started to understand the way that contemporary dance works and the language that it is.
When I chose my dancers, I very much like to work with individual people and what they have to bring to it, so I won't choose them so that they fit into my style.
You know when you do the big script?
Yeah. I've come up with my head.
Can you half frame back me to take it up?
Okay, take 3 after a false start.
Ready?
Yeah.
And go.
It's good. Oh, sorry. I want to say come around.
That's fine. Okay, we'll just go one more time.
The run will come.
You're like. Okay, so like here. Yeah. Look. Come away. Look. Yes, that's it.
Sally, I chose Sally to be one of the criminals because of the way she moves, and she's a very strong dancer as well in her facial expressions. So I felt that, you know, I wanted to work with that quality with her. And then the other 2, again, very different people. Sarah, who was the other criminal, has almost opposite personality, and in the way that she moves to Sally, which came through and actually was quite nice because then it separated them and clarified them in their characters. And then Laura, who played Jesus, actually had quite a strong facial expressions again.
I love the way that different dancers do similar moves in a completely different way, depending on their personality and the way that they would express themselves. those dancers have an effect on the way that the film looks, in the same way that actors do, and I thought that was absolutely fascinating.
Is that alright? Yeah. You alright? Yeah. Okay, it's your call, Jim.
Two. Take one.
Tell
Up
me
you
when I
go.
can go, yeah?
Ready? Right, Laura?
Tell me when I can go.
Quickly.
We had a few interviews actually. One of the main ones, which we do have recorded, was Laura, who played Jesus. And she's brilliant. If you see her in the film running.
He's good.
Oh! Oh!
Knocked her head. So that was great. And Sally as well, actually.
I've really winded myself, sorry.
So you see Sarah at the end, she goes out of the forest into heaven with Jesus, purely because she believed who Jesus said he was. And that's what I'd like people to take away. They have a decision to make, and dance is just one way of exploring that.